LordMaddog, and we are playing Kerbal Space Program. Last time, we tried to land on Jewel. That didn't end so well. Oh, now it ended up with a boom. Okay, so after trying to land on Jewel, we reloaded and landed on Lathe, which netted combined with the atmospheric testing in Jewel and landing on Lathe, it netted us a large amount of science, almost 9K. Well, 8K. It was. I think no, it was actually 7K, a little bit over 7K. And then I went around to all my space stations and gathered the science from them. So we ended up with actually 8K, 8.5K worth of science. So this time around, we're going to spend that 8K point five worth of science. And after that, we're going to take a look at refining my EVA spaceship a little. Because I noticed that, well, obviously you can't have the probe sticking out of it, it'll burn off. Okay, and then we're going to see about trying, like I said, we're going to try to make it better. And then, according to what I choose here, will dictate what we do next. I think we're going to choose antimatter. No, not the first of antimatter, the actual storage units to be able to collect antimatter. So we're antimatter. Nope. Don't even know what that engine does. But anyway, first antimatter engine. Okay. So, but first, no, EMG drive not worthwhile. We did select, decide to get all the rest of the radiators. That really will help because everything's been overheating anyway, so no, it's something you're going to need. Alright, looking at these different things, I think I'm going to skip forward until I finally make my pick, so you guys don't have to watch me switch and look at all these different possible options. We're going to go ahead and we chose, right here, we chose nuclear reactor, the glass engine, nuclear glass engine, and I'm thinking about choosing the next one, electricity. I was wondering what the magnetopulse does and trying to figure out what those do. Not sure at this point because of the warp engine, which may seem slightly unfair, but let's be honest, everyone else is doing playthroughs without warp engines. They get the warp engine and they pretty much quit playing the game because they've got everything by them. But since I started afterwards, I already have the warp engine, which is fair. Yes, I think I'm going to go with antimatter collecting. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Because antimatter looks like it's a pretty promising power source. Alright, so we check antimatter. We're going to go ahead and recover my beam power, given us 17 million. And we're going to check out possible missions. But as I was saying before, science stuff, because we have all these, my warp drive, we don't really need any advancements in delta V in VAC, which means that the only thing I'm really interested in is any good engine for ISP engine that is in atmosphere, for use in atmosphere. All these other engines, actually, I'll be honest, all these other engines for what is it, Interstellar, do make things easier. Yes, they do, but you can achieve pretty much everything you do with them with stock, with just a little bit of ingenuity. Maybe not quite as fast. You might have to spend a few more days time warping, but yeah, like these things here. This is actually, I thought these things would be pretty nice, but It turns out they don't have very much thrust to weight ratio at all. In fact, they barely have enough thrust to weight ratio to pick themselves up, which kind of makes sense, but more or less something to be used in VAC again. That's why I got them, because I thought they did have a decent ISP for liftoff, but no, it didn't. Here I decided to change out the fuel, trying to use a different fuel. You see if I can get better ISP for landing, and and still, once again, even selecting the right ones, trying out the different relationships here, I still end up with there max. I think it got was 37 thrust to weight ratio. Oh no, I didn't even get that. All right, so I end up reloading and undoing all my changes to EVA, and well, no, I saved my changes. I did make some changes to EVA, but they were only to move the probe core and the what's it called into a different place. So we are now looking at building an antimatter collector. So this collect antimatter. This stores the antimatter, and it has to have power, because without power it'll blow up. So we need here a reactor, and we need the store. To do that though, it's not going to let me mount it on the side without having a radial attachment point, which I just discovered these radial attachment points just now. They're actually really nice. We need the battery and a probe core. Probe battery. There we go. All right, now I keep on checking my weight, because I don't want to go over 31 ton, because I don't want to have to actually spend all the time to actually lift this into space. You know, develop a spacecraft that can actually lift it and put a chain thing around it or anything like that. It's just, I don't think it's worth all that effort. So I can't make that any smaller, which is annoying, so I decided not to use it. And that's a no-go either. I think in the end I decide not to give it an engine at all, just to let it float around in space wherever it's sat. I still have no idea what charged particle trap does. I have no idea how to use them, or what to do with them. Not a clue. And I don't want to spend the time to learn how to do it either. Only 400, like I said. So we're going to skip forward as I go through the different options, and we're going to go ahead and add radiators, and we're going to test it. I'm going to try to launch it off the pad. That's not a good idea. Start charging. Status charging. Charging. I have no idea what it even means. I'm like, wait, you can charge these? I thought you had to be in orbit. Reactor into 2 megawatts. And no, we're not going to take off with that, of course. The reactor's just not heavy, powerful enough. Alright, so okay, so for your storage, you need, for why they're active, your storage has to have constant energy. It needs 10 kilowatts each. A megawatt is 1,000 kilowatts. So I have from this how much kilowatts did it say I had? 10 megawatts? No, 10. What's the generated power I'm generating? And here I find out you can actually store, you can actually give, you can actually, you don't actually have to be in space to produce it. You can just take it and switch it over. It costs money, but at this point, money's not really an issue. It kind of ruins it for me, because anytime you can just magically produce antimatter, any object, just like I was upset about being able to magically produce yeah, there we go. Antimatter coil. We're going to launch that into space. I was really upset about being able to magically produce exotic matter. So you should have to go up and send it in space to be able to produce it. But you don't have to. I don't know why. I didn't. As far as I know, I don't have a mod to affect that. But I went ahead and launched it anyway just to start collecting antimatter. I guess it's a good way to get money. I mean, if I have a big antimatter collector up in space. Alright. And it is collecting. These cost 1 kilowatt of power, and the stores cost 10 kilowatts of power each. And I have, right now I'm using 171 kilowatts. I am making 2 megawatts, so I am definitely going to survive for a long time at this rate. And I am producing antimatter. I am producing not much at all, an hour. This thing would probably work better around Joule, has a bigger magnetic field, but that's big enough for me, I guess. I don't know how, I don't have anything that uses antimatter yet, so that's that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at possible missions. Plant flag on moon. No, I don't have anyone near the moon. Ferry people to their destination. No way. Explore Dres. Absolutely, I'm going to explore Dres. Yeah, I'm going to explore Dres. So yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do this time around, is I'm going to explore Dres. So we build an antimatter thing, and what am I doing now? Ah, yes, I decided I wanted to mess with this thing. It's very interesting to me. The whole concept of this, because I want to be able to launch a really heavy load into space. I was thinking maybe I could do that with this thing. So I try this out, and there, because it says you gotta have a laser underneath it, which is it's understandable. It's a pretty cool design. And this is just fun. This is just I tell you right off the bat, this does not result in anything useful. It's just fun. And it didn't actually launch for some reason. There we go. We're generating, activate transmitter, 2 megawatts. Disable, okay. And there we are. We're receiving. No, we're not receiving. There we are. Are we receiving? No, we're not receiving. Oops. And there's not enough thrust to weight ratio. That's strange. I thought for sure that laser, 2 megawatt power laser, would be able to launch that thing, but it was not able to launch that thing. So I decide I'm going to go ahead and launch my big power and launch it. And that's laggy and takes a long time to load. There we are. and activated it. Come back over here, try this again. And if you want to know, this doesn't work either. It has to be directly beneath it. Strangely enough. Cannot receive. Hey, no. Nope, nope. That was annoying, sadly. So once again, we are trying a little bit different angle this time. This is I wanted to be my new crew launcher, because I figured it'd be a lot cheaper to use this to launch a crew and more supplies into space. So as you see here, different resources. Oops, here, go ahead, and PVC needs more PVC. Fuel. So yes, it actually requires fuel. I'm not quite sure why it needs fuel. And once again, a bug where it doesn't load. Activate, and boom. Yeah, flipped upside down, but as you see, it actually has some thrust to weight ratio. Really nice. So I was pretty excited about this. I was like, oh wow, I wonder if I can launch blah 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 blah. And I thought I could do this and do that, and well, you can probably guess it doesn't turn out well. Alright. Oh, oops. Here we go. Activate. Launch. Yay! I can get it into orbit pretty quick. And then into space. But then you run out of PVC. And you're not going to use that. Oh, wow. And then here comes this problem. This thing needs to receive power to actually run. This thing is one of the most useless pieces of crap I've seen in a long time. It used to be awesome, and then they made it so it can't work while in atmosphere, and then they nerfed it, and then they nerfed it again, and now it's trash. Don't ask me what the big ball on the top is for. Transmitter, accelerate receiver, and X-band, because this is what I'm still using, is X-band at this time. I decided I was going to use it like this. I didn't have things set up right for it to use like that, because it's all built upside down. I have the wrong things selected. I need a probe core underneath to be able to actually do that there. Stack coupler, and it's still not working the way I wanted it to. There, we finally, after some editing, we finally got it right. And now it's too heavy to lift off. Of course, that big top heavy thing, it's not going to work. There we go. Oh wow, wait, how did I get it to work? Oh, I don't know. Somehow remove some weight. Activate receiver. Expand. And yay. And once again. Nothing. Not receiving anything. And I get tired of messing with this whole thing and realize it's just not a good idea. Well, no, actually, I don't get done with it yet. I keep trying. It's too heavy now, and it remains too heavy. Ooh, there, well, look at that. It took off. And flips upside down. And nope, that's not good. So as you see, I will have this. You will be able to download all of my files. I'm going to leave this one in the files if you want to mess with it. It's something fun to mess with. It does not achieve anything all that great. Megawatts. And I thought for sure, oh, this will work. And no, it doesn't work. Doesn't have enough thrust to weight ratio. Alright, so that's what happened with that. And then we're back here. Once again, messing around and fooling around with different things as well. Man probe 2 alone. That is going to be sent to Drez, but not right now. We're going to make sure it's accepting power. And let's transmit that data. Skip forward a little. Forward a little. We are transferring a crew to trying to at least it lagginess not letting me do it. And I finally transfer a crew. Nope, I still didn't transfer a crew. I think I eventually finally got it to work. And then I decided I was going to go ahead and launch this into space. So, but that's where we're going to end now. Hit the invisible thing there. We're going to end when this thing gets into space, and then we'll pick back up when right where we left off. So I hope you enjoyed me fooling around with antimatter collectors and fooling around with the PVC laser launcher. It was interesting. It didn't achieve much, but it was definitely interesting. So I will see you next time on Kerbal Space Program with me, LordMaddog, and you, of course, because I need you to watch if you're going to watch. Yeah, so I will see you next time.